TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations. Shalom ve'erev tov, good evening. Welcome to our daily TV7 Israel News Bulletin, broadcast from Jerusalem. U.S. President Donald Trump asserts either Iran accepts a deal or, quote, they're going to be decimated. Qatar and Turkey are proactively trying to convince the United States to avoid yet another round of hostilities. And the Ayatollah regime insists its military is ready for any scenario. The United States does not need China to emerge victorious versus the Islamic Republic of Iran. In a press availability before departing for China, U.S. President Donald Trump acknowledged that he would talk to his Chinese counterpart about the joint U.S.-Israel military campaign against the terror regime in Iran. Nevertheless, Beijing, which has contributed to the Iranian regime's survivability, will not have a say in the outcome of the war.
What is your message to President Xi as it relates to the Iran war?
Well, I think number one, we're going to have a long talk about it. I think he's been relatively good, to be honest with you. You look at the blockade, no problem. They get a lot of their oil from that area. We've had no problem, and he's been a friend of mine. He's been somebody that we get along with, and I think you're going to see that good things are going to happen. No, I don't think we need any help with Iran. We'll win it one way or the other. We'll win it peacefully or otherwise. Their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, every single element of their war machine is gone. They've killed a lot of people. They've killed 42,000 people at least over the last month and a half. We win.
President Trump further asserted that he expects to ultimately achieve a good deal with Iran, while underscoring that if the Ayatollah regime fails to succumb to America's demands, the alternative to a deal is a resumption of conflict.
Well, we're going to see what happens. We're only making a good deal. We have their military's gone, it's wiped out, and we're only going to make a good deal, and we'll see what happens. But I believe that one way or the other, it's going to be very good for the American people, and I think actually very good for the Iranian people. We have Iran very much under control. We're either going to make a deal or they're going to be decimated. So one way or the other, we win.
President Trump was further asked about whether he was considering to replace Pakistan from serving as a mediator with the terror regime in Iran.
Are you reconsidering the Pakistanis as mediators?
No, they're great. What? I think they're great. I think the Pakistanis have been great. The Field Marshal and the Prime Minister of Pakistan have been absolutely great.
The question about Pakistan's role was made after reports revealed that the Pakistanis allowed Iran to park some of its aerial assets within Pakistani bases to shield them against the United States and Israel. The revelation was raised by U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham during a Senate Appropriations Committee hearing in which Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and Chairman of the military's Joint Chiefs of General Staff, General Dan Kane, testified.
Are you aware of reports that Pakistan are allowing their bases to be used to park Iranian aircraft, General Kane?
Sir, I've seen one report on that.
Well, is it accurate?
Sir, I think based on the variety of classification matters.
Let me just say, do you agree if it is accurate, that is sort of inconsistent with it being a peace mediator?
Sir, I wouldn't want to comment on that based on the ongoing negotiations and Pakistan's role.
Secretary Hegseth, if the mediator is allowing reconnaissance aircraft of Iran to be parked in Pakistani air bases, do you think that's consistent with being a fair mediator?
I wouldn't want to get in the middle of these negotiations.
Yeah.
I want
well, I do.
efficacy
I
for
want
our
to get in
people.
the middle of these negotiations. I don't trust Pakistan as far as I can throw them. If they actually do have Iranian aircraft parked in Pakistan bases to protect Iranian military assets, that tells me we should be looking maybe for somebody else to mediate. No wonder this damn thing is going nowhere.
During the hearing, Secretary Hegseth was asked about the significance of multiple allies coming to America's aid during times of crisis, to which the Pentagon's top officials singled out Israel as a model ally.
Senator, our vision is to have real, capable allies and partners. I think that's what we've seen in Epic Fury. Israel's Air Force and their ability, will, and their capability is a demonstration to the world. There are other allies like that, and we need more of them. So flags are not the goal. The number of flags involved in an operation are not the goal. The goal is the number of capable formations who can actually fight alongside the American fighting man and woman. So it's not just us all the time. I saw that in Iraq. I saw that in Afghanistan. Our generation has experienced that. No administration has done more to ensure that our allies and partners realize they need to step up so that we can amplify our capabilities. That's what burden sharing is all about. It's not just we carry the burden for other countries. It's other countries are capable of coming alongside us as well.
The Secretary of War further asserted that from the beginning of Operation Epic Fury, or Roaring Lion as it's known in Israel, the objectives were clear, and that the United States military, in close cooperation with the Israeli Air Force, have achieved the majority of their objectives. Moreover, in contrast to Iranian claims that they control the Strait of Hormuz, Secretary Hegseth argued that it is the United States Navy that controls which vessels enter and exit the strait.
From the beginning, we've been very clear about the military objectives and the underlying strategic objective, which is preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon.
Yes.
Take, for example, the fact that Iranians' conventional Navy, they had aircraft carriers with Shahed drones on them before this started. They had full-on destroyers and battleship capabilities, none of which they have anymore. And
did the Iranian Navy have aircraft carriers?
Iranian Navy had 3 drone aircraft carriers. The Iranian Navy had 11
launch
submarines.
Platforms for drones, sure.
They had 11 submarines.
And you've
they
sunk all of the regular
Navy.
Great, good.
They retain fast boat capabilities, which they've always had. We understand that, which we can control for and will. We've degraded almost completely their defense industrial base capabilities. The idea that they control anything, you can terrorize something, you can hold it at issue with piracy, as I've talked about at the Pentagon podium time and time again.
Correct.
That doesn't mean you control it. We control what goes in and out, and we control whether or not we have to restart conflict. The president does as well.
Mr.
So
Secretary,
we're the ones that will manage where this goes in the future, and they have very limited ability to set the tempo or respond to it, and that gives the president a lot of options to ensure that Iran never gets a nuclear weapon.
General Kane, for his part, reinforced Secretary Hegseth's argument, highlighting further that the Ayatollah regime was facing total pressure from multiple U.S. government agencies, systemically weakening the terror regime's functionality.
The totality of total pressure, which the military element is just one component on, is what the regime in Iran is feeling right now. And I think there's no shortage of ability to hold that pressure. The decision on for how long to hold that pressure is, of course, a political one and within our civilian leadership. But I would highlight that they are absolutely feeling that pressure, not just from the blockade, as the Secretary talked about, but the continuation of sanctions that Treasury and others have put on there, and we retain a range of military options.
Meanwhile, in Doha, Qatari Prime Minister and top diplomat Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdul Rahman Al Thani, during a visit by his Turkish counterpart Hakan Fidan, emphasized his emir's support for Pakistan's diplomatic efforts, as Qatar essentially aligned itself with Turkey's position, acknowledging that Ankara and Doha are closely coordinating efforts to push for a Pakistani-mediated resolution.
Boğazın tabii ki açılması konusundaki bütün çabaları destekliyoruz.
We of course support all efforts to open the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz not being used as a weapon is extremely important for regional security, regional stability, as much as the global economy. In this respect, we support all efforts to ensure safety of passage and to prevent a return to this situation.
Bir daha bu duruma dönülmemesi için bütün çabaları destekliyoruz.
The role that Pakistan is playing is very important and critical for the entire region and for the world, and for, as His Excellency Brother Hakan just mentioned, that this crisis is not only affecting the region, but it's affecting everything in the globe, which is basically the energy security, the freedom of navigation, setting new precedents for things that are were not acceptable and will never be acceptable for our countries. Both Qatar and Turkey are coordinating the efforts and supporting the Pakistani diplomacy in reaching a resolution as soon as possible.
The Qatari Prime Minister further highlighted his efforts to convince the United States to end the war, regardless of the fact that the Ayatollah regime continues to signal its aspirations to revitalize its nuclear weapons program.
كانت لي زيارة قبل يومين إلى الولايات المتحدة.
I had a visit to the United States 2 days ago, which focused mainly on supporting Pakistani efforts and ensuring a positive response to these diplomatic efforts to reach a solution as quickly as possible. I also explained to the American side the impact that the war has unfortunately had on the region, and that prolonging it will not be in anyone's interest in the region or the world.
في صالح أحد في المنطقة أو في العالم.
It is important to know that the Ayatollah regime remains unwilling to grant the United States any concessions via diplomatic means, believing it retains the military capabilities to sustain yet another cycle of war.
I can assure you that our armed forces are prepared for every scenario. I'm sure that anyone who dares to put their foot in Iran's territory, they would be badly regretted.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News, which is made possible by the generosity of our viewers. I would like to point out that TV7 Israel will not broadcast tomorrow in light of Ascension Day celebrations. Therefore, I'd like to also wish our viewers who are celebrating a blessed Ascension Day, and to point out that if you're blessed by our productions and would like to help support TV7 Israel, which is exclusively donation-based, please do so. It will help us a lot. You can donate via our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. Please pray for the peace of Jerusalem and redemption of Israel. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you an Erev Mevorach, and God willing, until our next update, Shalom from Jerusalem.